Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into a pretty controversial idea, one that is really shaking up the world of work as we speak. We're talking about the end of the project manager as we know it.
And look, this isn't just some dramatic headline I came up with. This is a real quote. Someone actually said this out loud in a training session for executives. That right there shows you just how massive this disruption is. And it gets right to the heart of what we're digging into today.
So, what's really going on here? Is this just about a role that's evolving or, getting a new name? Nope. It's much bigger than that. We're looking at a classic career path that is being systematically dismantled, with its most important jobs scattered across the entire organization.
To really get why this is happening, we've got to look back for a second. The traditional project manager, they were often the hero, right? That one person who is the single point of contact responsible for absolutely everything. But that whole model, it was built for a world that, let's be honest, just doesn't exist anymore. For about 50 years, this was the ladder you climbed. It was so clear, so linear, so reliable. You'd move up from coordinator to manager to senior PM, gaining more and more responsibility as the central commander of projects. It was a respected, stable career. You knew the path.
And this right here, this gets to the why. The project manager role was basically a patch. It existed because teams and departments just didn't talk to each other. So you needed this one person, this central hub, to connect all the disconnected parts. It was a role born from a low-trust, siloed environment. And that brings us to right now. In today's fast-moving, agile companies, the actual title project manager can be a huge red flag. It kind of suggests an old-school command and control way of thinking that is the complete opposite of what drives modern teams, empowerment and collaboration. So, if the role is dead, what killed it?
Well, this wasn't some random accident. You could call it a planned assassination, and it was driven by the rise of Agile. Agile methodologies came in and systematically unbundled all of the PM's doo-doos and handed them off to a whole new cast of characters. If we perform an autopsy, we find three main culprits. The PM's responsibilities were basically carved up and given to the product owner, the Scrum Master, and, get this, the team itself. These three roles sucked up every single core function of the traditional PM. Let's break down exactly how. First up, the product owner. This role is laser-focused on strategy. They are the voice of the customer, living inside the team, and they're always asking that one critical question: are we building the right thing? They own the what and the why, making sure the team is creating the most value possible.
And you can see the handover so clearly here. Defining the project scope, prioritizing what features to build next, owning the product's vision. All these huge strategic jobs of the old PM were just carved out and given directly to the specialist product owner. Boom. Next up, the Scrum Master. Now, this is not a manager in the way you might think. They're a coach, a facilitator, a servant leader. Their job is not to tell people what to do. It's to manage the system of work and to clear any and all roadblocks that get in the team's way. And the pattern just continues. All that process management and team facilitation stuff, which used to be a massive part of a PM's day, was transferred over to the Scrum Master. Their focus is on the health of the team's process, not on managing individual tasks. And here's the final piece of the puzzle: the team itself. Instead of a project manager assigning tasks from on high, an empowered Agile team looks at the work and pulls it in. They decide for themselves how to best get it done. The day-to-day management is now distributed among the very people doing the work. So when you boil it all down, it's actually pretty simple. The project manager role was a workaround, a patch for a bug in the system. That bug was a fundamental lack of collaboration. Agile came along and fixed that bug by building communication directly into the process. And once you fix the bug, you just don't need the patch anymore. The central hub becomes redundant. But hold on a second. Does this mean all those skills you worked so hard to build in project management are suddenly useless? Absolutely not. And this is where the story takes a really fascinating turn. This is the central paradox. This is the paradox in a nutshell. On one side, you have the title, project manager, which is becoming a liability. On the other side, you have the function, the actual skills of project management, things like risk management, stakeholder communication, and that stuff is more essential than ever. It is absolutely booming. And if you need proof, just look at this number.
Projections show that by 2027, the world is going to need nearly 88 million people in roles that are oriented around project management. 88 million. So the demand for these skills is exploding, even as the classic title is fading away. So, what does this all mean for you, for your career? It means the path forward isn't about clinging to a dying title. It's about taking those essential skills you have and rebranding them for the modern workplace. These are the kinds of titles that are in super high demand right now. If you're great at strategy in the big picture, you should be looking at product or program manager. If you're passionate about how teams work and making the process better, Scrum Master or Agile Coach could be perfect for you. Or if you just excel at getting things done and clearing roadblocks, the delivery lead role is gaining huge traction. So if you only take one thing away from this, let it be this. It is time for a mental shift. Stop thinking of yourself as a generalist project manager. Start thinking of yourself as a specialist leader, a leader in strategy, a leader in process, or a leader in delivery. That is how you future-proof your career. And that brings me to a final question for you. As this whole world continues to evolve, what new title do you think best captures the future of project leadership? Is it one of the ones on our list, or is it something totally new that we haven't even seen yet? I'd love to know what you think. Thanks for joining this explainer.